This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Tuesday, January 20th of 2026, and we are so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I'll be visiting with the Iowa Egg Council Chairman Bruce Dooyema. Also have the closing markets with Ross Baldwin of agmarket.net. But first, I have that conversation with Bruce as he was in attendance to the recent egg donation to the Iowa Food Bank Association. A lot of eggs going out to food insecure Iowans. Bruce, tell us a little bit about this donation and just how it really speaks to the giving nature of the producers here in Iowa.
Yeah, thanks, Riley. Egg farmers across the state of Iowa are very generous. I think it comes back from our heritage from 250 years ago when we first started America. We're always, I would say Iowa is probably the most giving state of, I like to brag a little bit, most giving state of all of them, but this donation of a little over 300,000 eggs, 25,000 dozen, it'll go in and out of here within this week. It goes to needy families, and there's nothing more nutritious than letting a family have eggs.
Yeah, nothing more nutritious, and it's also easy to cook. So there's a lot of different ways that people can use that in their dishes, and it's also easy for maybe even, say, the kids who are maybe at home while their parents are out working. They can not only have something easy to cook, but like you said, something super nutritious that's going to help them be healthy.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And eggs are so versatile; they can go into so many things, and you can be really creative with them. There's so many different ways you can prepare them.
Yeah, and there's not only just this donation, but people are donating all the time, and it really, like I said earlier, really speaks to the giving nature of the Iowa egg producers. But also, it's a great showcase of what a great product we're making here in Iowa, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm also the chairman of the International Egg Foundation, and we're building chicken houses in impoverished countries around the world. And one of the programs in Honduras, they're feeding eggs to pregnant moms. And what that's done over the last several years, they've been keeping records since 2018. And the difference that they see in those kids and those moms by just having that extra protein of the egg, having an egg a day is incredible. What a difference that makes. So, eggs are great for the body, great for the mind, great for the eyesight. So it's just all around one of the best foods a person can eat.
Thanks again to Bruce Dooyema, the chairman of the Iowa Egg Council, for joining us on today's show. And we'll go ahead and take a look now at the closing markets with Ross Baldwin of agmarket.net. Ross, what do we see going on in the grain markets today after that 3-day weekend?
Hey, Riley, saw a pretty quiet day across the grain markets, but they were under pressure. Corn ended the day pretty mixed to about a penny lower is where it was. The soybean market was 4 to 5 cents lower. Kansas City wheat was 3 to 4 cents lower, and Chicago wheat was 6 to 7 cents lower.
So then when we look right now, I heard today was kind of a geopolitical day. Obviously, there's a lot of global factors weighing in on the markets right now. South America, we've got tariff, trade war deals. When we look at those things, is South America kind of at the top of the list for factors to keep an eye on?
Yeah, South America, I mean, it remains one of the larger fundamental drivers, I would say, right now, especially after we've got past the Jan WASDE, that it was the big bearish report that was thrown at the corn and bean markets. But right now, as we look forward, South America remains the large driver, just as they finish out their soybean crop, and they've had a little bit of drier weather right now in southern Brazil and Argentina, but as a whole, it's still looking towards a record large soybean crop down there in South America. So it's going to be the larger thing to talk about right now from a fundamental perspective.
And especially as the weather down there is looking pretty good, is there any chance, I know that there's a good chance for the USDA to move up on their projections based on other projections we've seen Could we see that total go up even higher?
Yeah, the USDA still remains a little bit below some of the private forecasts or that you're seeing down there on the Brazilian crop. So I think for right now, I mean, it's by the time it's all said and done, we'll see the USDA have to walk their numbers up just a little bit, get more in line with that crop. But it's it's a big bean crop down there. So I mean, from a world or global perspective, when you look at just the global bean stocks following the USDA's increase of the US carryout here last week to 350 million bushels in the US, there's plenty of soybeans to go around, that's for sure.
Then over on the livestock side of things, how did cattle and hogs trade today?
It was a firmer day of trade across the cattle and hog markets. Cattle, they had a little bit of a recovery. The nearby months were 20 to 60 cents higher on fat cattle, and the deferred months were $1 to $1.30 higher. Feeder cattle were $1 to $1.50 higher. We obviously had a nasty sell-off across the markets here on Friday to end last week, and a lot of that trade, we had feeder cattle down $8 and live cattle 4 to 5 lower, and a lot of that was just on the heels of the rumors that were floating around that there was New World screwworm found in the U.S. and the USDA came out late Friday and said that there has been no cases of the New World screwworm found in the U.S. and they were nothing more than rumors. But the fact is that there has been more cases moving further north in Mexico. The Tamaulipas area is one that people have been following closely as there was a case found at the end of December and then another case in early January. And Tamaulipas is only 197 miles south of the U.S. border. And since then, if you go back to the December 26th case that was found, there's actually been 8 or 9 cases that have been found in this Tamaulipas area, which is it's starting to get close. So I mean, it's within 200 miles of the border. And then when you look at the amount of cases that have popped up here within 400 miles of the U.S. border that are still in Mexico, but the cases continue to accelerate. So there is a lot of concern, about the screwworm obviously moving into the U.S. From a fundamental perspective, I don't know that it really changes much. And you could probably make the case that if anything, it would further tighten the supply of cattle that are available if it got to the U.S. and thinking that there could be some zones that were quarantined or something like that. But from a fundamental perspective, it doesn't change anything as far as the numbers go. But from a knee-jerk reaction headline, as far as the futures market perceives it as, it's negative. I mean, we've seen that play out, time and time again when there's been these kind of rumors. But in the big picture, I don't know that it changes anything to the cattle market. So the cattle markets today, after the USDA said there's no cases of screwworm in the United States, we did find a little bit of solid footing here. Now, we didn't get back much of those losses that we had on Friday, but I think a lot of that's due to the outside markets. The Dow's down almost 900 points right now. The S&P's down 150 points. So there is some pressure in the outside markets, but the cattle markets remain in good shape. I mean, cash fats they were higher again last week. We're in this 232 to 233 range. Cash feeders continue to set new highs across the country at sale barns, and it seems difficult to slow this cash feeder cattle market down.
All right, Ross, lots of great information today. For anyone who would like to get in touch with agmarket.net for more information, how can they do that?
You can reach me at our office here in Anthem. Our number is 712-373-3276, or you can visit agmarket.net to find any of the ag market brokers.
All right, thanks again for your time as always, Ross, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Riley.
That again was Ross Baldwin of agmarket.net. We'll take a look at how the numbers closed through the market window at iowaagnet.com. At the close, March corn up 4.5 at 4.24 3/4. March soybeans up 4 3/4 at 10.57 3/4. March soybean meal up 80 cents at 2.90 even. March soybean oil down 36 cents at 52.61. Chicago wheat up 7.5 at 5.18 even. Kansas City hard red winter wheat up 10 even at 5.27 1/4. Minneapolis spring wheat up 3 even at 5.65 1/2. March oats up 8 3/4 at 3.02 even. On the Merc, February live cattle down 3.90 at 232.15. March feeders down 8.10 at 356.45. February lean hogs up 47 cents at 88.27. February pork cutout up 15 at 96.27. And February class 3 milk up 7 cents at 15.07. That's been checking the markets on Ag Matters PM, and that also brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our daily ag news content on our website at iowaagnet.com. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.